Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. JLR investigates. JLR on patrol, out in the field, running around, covering stories. Come on in, folks. We're going to talk about Tuskegee University. Tuskegee, Alabama. There was a mass shooting over the weekend, if you're not aware. One person dead, apparently 16 injured. Let's talk about this 1 a.m. shooting, an unauthorized party on the campus of Tuskegee University, which resulted in a fatality, a pop-up party that we've kind of discussed on JLR Investigates in the past, these pop-up parties that come up in the middle of the night. We're talking about an arrest made, but it looks like the person that has been arrested has he didn't commit the crime as far as the murders. He's charged federally with a firearm possession charge, but we might have killers on the loose. Let's talk. Tuskegee, Alabama. Jaquez, his name is Jaquez. He's in big trouble, 25 years old. We're going to talk about this case a little bit. Come on in, folks. JLR investigates a college mass shooting. Very bad, folks. You're supposed to go to college and send your kids to college to get an education and learn and, get yourself into being a right person by getting a proper education and then being a productive citizen. It seems like the colleges have been kind of wild lately, particularly, some issues, social issues that we've been talking about in the last year with, the war with Israel and Gaza, with the camps and the protests and whatnot, escalation of violence on the college campuses. But now we got a mass shooting, Tuskegee. And this was the 100th anniversary for their homecoming. And it turned into a complete mess. But folks, again, we have a killer on the loose, or killers. Now, I don't know if you listen to clips. Hear that? I got a scanner. I always listen around for breaking news in the Tampa Bay area. I'm out in the field. I'm not inside my home this morning. Come on in. Let's talk. This guy is in big trouble. We're going to talk about him a little bit. Comes from Tampa, Florida. He's originally from Tampa, Florida. Comes up to the Montgomery, Alabama area. And it looks like he has some co-defendants out there. He got caught. He got caught with a more or less an automatic weapon. Wow, there's police everywhere. There's police everywhere here. Drinking Wawa coffee, by the way. Good morning, folks. We cover true crime 24/7, 365 on JLR Investigates. I'm going to get Magnolia in the chat so we can talk a little bit about this particular tragedy. People go to school just to get an education. Imagine being the person that died was an 18-year-old, by the way. But imagine you getting that call from law enforcement saying that your son or daughter has been killed at the university because of a shooting. And we're not just talking about, we could be talking about beef between gangs or beef between people, whatever like that. But I don't know if you listened to the clip, folks, but it was like pop, 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 pop. And it was just nonstop gunfire going across the board. ABC News puts a story out. We're going to share the story. We're going to share what's going on. Come on in, Tuskegee. So remember this guy's face right here, Jaquez Myrick. His name is Jaquez Myrick. Jaquez Myrick. Who is this guy? Who's he working with? Why did he do it? Not charged with murder, though. See, that's the interesting thing. A lot of times after these shootings, they get the perpetrator pretty relatively quickly. But at this time, authorities have not named any other suspects. So it's safe to say, and he's not charged with murder yet, but he doesn't seem like he is the one. Seems like he was the one there with some guns. as a group of people, you know, you might go in there looking for trouble, whatever like that, with an automatic weapon, and someone within your group does the shooting. They all scatter off. He gets charged because he has the weapon on him, but he's not charged with murder. Makes me think that there's killers on the loose in Alabama. Killers on the loose. Killers. I would say probably killers. Magnolia says school classes are canceled today. Sick stuff. It's sick. I'm tired of seeing this craziness. Sick stuff.
Returned out of the shooting during homecoming weekend at Tuskegee University in Alabama. One person was arrested after gunfire left one person dead, 16 others injured. Faith Abubi is on the scene at the university with the latest. Good morning, Faith.
Good morning to you, George. Classes were canceled today as the university community grapples with how a celebration ended in such grief. Investigators have arrested a man they say was seen leaving the scene here, and after the shooting, he was seen holding a machine gun, according to authorities. Videos of the shooting circulating on social media, and this morning, a warning that some of the images you're about to see may be disturbing. This morning, a 25-year-old man, Jaquez Myrick, charged with possession of a machine gun in a deadly campus shooting at Tuskegee University. The school 20 miles south of Auburn, Alabama, descending into chaos overnight Sunday.
On the west side of Tuskegee campus, unknown description of any shooters, multiple injuries.
A barrage of gunfire ringing out as students frantically ran to safety. Oh, shoot. Authorities say an 18-year-old visitor, Latavian Johnson, was killed. 16 others, including Tuskegee students, were injured. Interim Police Chief Patrick Mart is telling me he helped load an injured victim into an ambulance.
It was chaotic because the bad part about it, while other officers were assisting the medical triage of it, we had to exercise caution because we didn't know if the shooter was still on the scene.
The shooting happening as the historically black college celebrated its centennial homecoming. And this morning, questions remain about whether there were multiple shooters. Investigators are still asking the public to send in tips using an FBI hotline. In the meantime, the university has released a statement urging students to seek out help with grief counselors who will be here all day at the chapel here on campus. Guys.
We are thinking of all that have been impacted by this.
One thing interesting about this case is the victim is not even a student, and he isn't even a student. He isn't even a student. Jaquez Myrick, he's not even a student, folks. So who are these people, and why would non-students be going to Tuskegee University having a pop-up party at 1:45 a.m.? And where's the security and the police when large amounts of people gather on campus? Because that's what it seems. The images show an entire parking lot filled with kids and people. There could have been thousands out there. It's not like this was some sort of homecoming event that was sanctioned, you know, during the day or some sort of event in the day. This was they're saying an unauthorized gathering. An unauthorized gathering. Again, it reminds me of these people that do these pop-up parties in the middle of the night, or they get together and they do their drag racing and everything like that. They organize on social media, things like that. Those type of events, right? Where just these college students and a combination of mix just say, hey, we're all going to meet here. Illegal raves, illegal get-togethers, people twerking on hoods of cars, you know, just spinning around. And I just have that feeling that that's what's going on here. But Tuskegee is supposed to be safe. Colleges are supposed to be safe. They're supposed to be secure. They're supposed to allow your kid to get an education. Or could this have been continuing to go on at Tuskegee every Saturday night? Party at the campuses. Let's get Magnolia in the chat. Let's talk a little bit about this case and our take on this. I want to know if there's other people involved. Why can't they say whether Jaquez is the killer or not? He's not charged. I think he's being charged federally. Come on in, Magnolia, into the chat. Good morning.
Yeah, I think this was like some sort of shootout with a lot of different shooters.
Gangs?
Based on the videos that were going around on X, you can hear tons and tons and tons of gunfire. It's definitely not just coming from one gun. That's for sure.
But it's just crazy because, you know, nowadays, you know, with these shootings that we're seeing at these type of like pop-up parties and like, you know, you remember all the mass shootings that we've been covering for the last year just in the middle of the night, and, you know, these parties in these cities, when we hear the shots and we hear the videos, it's not just a couple guns like pop, pop, pop. I mean, we're like, duh, duh, you know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, it's nonstop. What do they mean when they say he had a handgun with a machine gun converter kit? Like, what does that mean? If anyone in the chat knows what that means. They're saying that he had a handgun and he had some sort of something that would convert it into an automatic. So I don't know what that is, but
that means he's trying to bring stronger heat. That means he wants some trouble.
Well, automatic weapons have been illegal for like 30 some years as far as I know. So they're saying it's a switch.
The guys
had a switch on the handgun. So yeah, because normally when you have a handgun and you shoot it, you know, you hear like boom, 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 you know, however long it takes to fire a round. But he had something attached to it. Yeah, it's called a switch. So they're saying it made it into like an automatic rifle. So that's how come it sounds like Rambo out there.
Well, here's another thing is, what's up with the 25-year-old hanging out on college campuses? He's a little bit too older at that point, right? Or is he still trying to hang out with the, you know, the college camp? Well, I mean, I guess 2018 to 22. And then you got these, you know, people that are a little bit older, I guess, but 25-year-old hanging out at a college campus at night. It's kind of weird too.
Yeah. I don't know what they mean when they say it was an unauthorized party. This was at an apartment. It was an on-campus apartment.
Parking lot. It looked like it was in the parking lot. There would look like the videos were showing mass gathering.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was on campus. So, yeah, why is this 25-year-old guy coming to parties on campus? I mean, not that doesn't happen, but, you know, he goes in there and starts shooting people. It sounded like it was just complete mayhem. They said there's 12 people that were shot, but 16 injured. So that means 4 people were injured just because
the stampede.
There was a melee and the crowd was scrambling around. People were taking videos, posting them on social media. There's several videos people posted. There was one I saw where a couple of young women were actually crouched down behind a car for protection. So it's like this hail of gunfire. You just hear this hail of gunfire. It sounds like you're in Baghdad,
Beirut,
or something.
Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
Boys in the Hood.
Well, yeah. I mean, it sounded more like a war zone than a college campus.
So let's not be politically correct here. Tuskegee University is a predominantly African-American college, right? And you would think that the dream of people in poverty, or, you know, African-Americans, whether the middle class, whoever, we're not just, you know, they would want to go to the university to get an education to better themselves, right? It's a badge of honor to be probably at a university, right? Yeah. For an African-American, you know, for Tuskegee, known as an all-black college in the South, in Montgomery, if you get enrolled there, it's almost like, oh my God, you're going to make it in society. It's good. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. You're applying yourself and everything like that. But, you know, when you get this violence and craziness from outsiders coming in there, that's a problem, because it deters people that actually want to do good or get influenced. It deters them from getting education and trying to be productive. That's how I feel. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I think parents that send their children to Tuskegee should be appalled and disgusted by this.
Yeah. Well, and on top of it, the crazy thing is, this was Tuskegee's 100th homecoming week. So this was like the peak of homecoming week. They had just played their homecoming game against another HBCU college called Miles College. And so this was after the homecoming game, and people, I guess, are having parties for homecoming or whatever. And then this happened, I think it was like around 1 o'clock in the morning. So it was a big week for the university, their 100th homecoming. And then this happened.
This could happen remember, folks, this could happen at any university. It could be the signs moving forward. I mean, this could be, you see, I have a feeling that this had something to do with some sort of partying, pop-up parties that get advertised on Instagram and TikTok, and they all just mass gather in the middle of the night, right? And really doesn't even give security a chance to understand or police to understand what's really happening, because it just happens so fast.
Well, I think that's what they mean when they say unauthorized party. So this was not like a campus party. It wasn't put on by a fraternity or a sorority or anything like that. It was just a random party held on campus. And it sounds like they have rules on campus regarding parties. So being that this apartment was literally on campus, they were probably not supposed to be having parties without authorization from security and different things like that. So it's probably, like you said, some post probably went out on social media and everybody came down, they start partying, there's some sort of altercation happens, and the next thing you know, it's like a war zone out there, which is a good reason to not allow this type of party to happen in the first place. But yeah, just if people are just joining, so just to clarify, they have not, the person who was killed was named Latavian Johnson. He was an 18-year-old who lived in Troy, Alabama, and he was not a student.
This is the guy that was killed.
No one has been charged yet for his death or for the injuries of 16 other people. They have arrested 25-year-old Jaquez Myrick for being in possession of a handgun with a machine gun conversion device. He was found leaving the scene of the shooting and charged federally with possession of a machine gun. So now today they have the campus, the classes are canceled for today. They have asked the public for help identifying more suspects to find out who all was actually out there shooting guns, because it was not just this one guy. We don't know yet if he's the one who actually shot and killed the 18-year-old. We just know that he was shooting out there and he's been arrested. So they're looking for the remaining shooters.
I just want to say, with college universities and stuff like that, I don't know for sure because I'm not there. I'm going by what I read and see, on social media and the talk of it. It just seems like college campuses in the last year gotten more dangerous than ever overall. Just with, the difference between, like, again, with the Gaza and the Israel issue, there was lots of campuses where there were violence on there. There were people, all over the campuses, in tents and everything like that, and standoffs with police and vandalism of certain buildings and whatnot. The groups, the partying. I'm just seeing, like, it's not like how it used to be 10, 20, 30 years ago. It's a lot different. Am I right or am I wrong here? Like, that's just the perception that I see. Can I back that up by facts? No. I'm just going by what I see and hear.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fact that mass shootings have increased over the last, whatever 30 years or so. But yeah, I mean, it becomes so common nowadays, which is just insane. It feels like sometimes that a lot of these children are not being taught the value of human life, and I think that kind of,
well, why can't
I think that's a big deal, and they just think that everything's a game. I know people don't like whenever you blame video games for stuff like this, but I mean,
but how is outside people allowed to be on campus at a college university campus in the middle of the night? Like, outside people. Like, and I say that, is that good or bad? I mean, should anyone, it's like saying, Magnolia, that's you and I, let's go to the University of Alabama, just hang out on the campus in the middle of the night. Wouldn't we be told to leave?
Possibly. It depends on the rules. I mean, some campuses, you can bring guests and things like that. But yeah, I don't think, for one thing, this party was not even authorized in the first place. And yeah, I probably wouldn't be going to something like that.
You know what I mean? It's just like, I just hope we don't get more of this. I hope this is not going to be a growing trend. And whatever the situation that brought all these people in, I hope other campuses and other universities take notice here and maybe change their policies or rules, or maybe get more security in here, or more campus police in here. Any signs whatsoever of a large unsanctioned gathering that happens at after 11 o'clock, or even at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever. Stop it before it gets out of control.
Yeah, if they have prior notice to it, yeah. But if it's like this pop-up situation where it's going out on social media and anybody in the area just shows up, I mean, you can, with the speed of social media these days, you can pull together something like that in a matter of minutes. It doesn't take much. You just put a couple posts out there. Anybody who's in the area sees the post, they just all come and show up. So
I sent you, can you read the statement? I'm going to hold this guy's photo up. Can you read the statement from the campus? They put out a statement. I put it in our chat, talking about this.
Yeah, I'll pull it up. Yeah, so someone in the chat is posting false information. This party was on campus. This was an on-campus apartment where this happened. It was not off campus. So just to clear that up. Let me pull this up. So yeah, the Tuskegee University put out a statement. Well, they've actually put out several statements, but I'll read the most recent one from, let's see, this was from yesterday afternoon, it looks like. So they said Tuskegee University is working with the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency as it continues to investigate the shooting on campus early Sunday. All classes will be canceled on Monday to ensure the officers and law enforcement partners are able to continue the investigation as easily as possible. The administration joins the students in mourning the event after such a joyous weekend and will provide grief counselors on Monday in the chapel for students who would like to come together to discuss what happened. Students should not hesitate to reach out for help through the Student Help Center if they choose to do so privately. So they're saying also to avoid the West Commons area, as the university is working with officials. So that's a specific area they're saying to avoid.
Do you really think they don't know who did this? Like, you really think, and here's another thing is too, is it if they know who a suspect is it the responsibility for law enforcement to immediately notify the public about a suspect or suspects, or do they keep that close within so they don't spook them off or spook her off? Whoever, I'm assuming a bunch of guys did this. Do you understand what I mean? Like, you think nowadays on a college campus with cameras anywhere that they don't know who did this?
Yeah, well, I think the people who were at the party probably know who did this, since they were there. They would have seen. But you know, a lot of times in these situations, people don't want to talk to police. They don't want to be seen as the snitch, and they're afraid that someone might retaliate if they talk. So that's the other issue you run into with these situations. There's people who obviously know who was doing the shooting because they were there.
The stop snitching culture. There's a stop snitching culture in some of these communities, you know, and it's like, don't talk to police, don't give anything up. Plus gangs. If you tell on a gang, you might get retaliated on.
Yeah, so that's like an added issue that that law enforcement always has to deal with. And you would think that people would want to see these people held accountable, and they would offer to help the police with any information they have, but a lot of times that just doesn't happen. People don't want to get involved. They don't want to have any part of it, so they just stay quiet. They don't say anything. But yeah, I think that there was a lot of cell phone video captured of this incident. We saw that on Twitter. There were several videos going around, so police will be able to collect all those videos, whatever cameras they had on campus. I do think they'll be able to find out who did it. I think it's just still too early, because this just happened yesterday morning, like early Sunday morning. This was like 1 a.m. Sunday morning.
Get them off the streets. Because, you know, the people that did this could continue to do this somewhere else, and hopefully no one else gets injured or hurt in this process. But wild stuff.
Well, there has to be repercussions, and very serious ones.
Plus parents that send their kids to school. Hearing that there's the person that did not do this, or the person that did this, because he's arrested. But again, I'm sure he was with the group, or maybe he was just there and had a gun, and they just charge him with a gun. He's not charged with murder, and I don't think this guy's the actual murderer. I don't.
Why?
Because I feel like he would have been charged already. He would have been charged with murder. He's not charged with murder. He's only charged with having a gun. Therefore, I feel like he's part of a group of people that were there with guns, but he's the actual, not the trigger man. Yeah, he might have fired off shots, but he's not the one. I'm sure they would have matched his gun right away. He would have confessed right away, and he would have been booked on murder charges. He's booked on a firearms charge, which is bailable at one point. Should be. Feds, they could say no bonds, but the guy doesn't have an extensive criminal record. I already looked him up. He has some seatbelt, stupid traffic violations in Hillsborough County, Florida. I don't think he's the murderer.
But they've charged him with federal charges for possessing a machine gun. So that's pretty serious stuff.
It's the right charge. That's what they should do. Yeah. If you modify a gun like that, yeah. And it's probably not even his gun.
Yeah, who even knows? Well, I think they'll be able to determine if he could have shot someone. We don't know yet if he's the one who actually killed the person, but there were 12 people shot. That's a lot of people. So I don't know how many shooters there were. It just, based on the videos going around, it looks like five shooters at least, something like that. Just the way it sounds, it just sounds like everybody just whipped out their guns and started firing.
Wild West. Scary stuff. But I'm thinking, Magnolia, as a parent, if I, I always look and think in the victim perspective. If I was a parent and I had my child go to a school or a college, university, and this happened, and 2 days later at the fact, they're not saying that they really caught the individual that did the murder, but just somebody else. I'd be worried here. I'd be asking tons of questions to the parent, because that would dictate whether I'd send my child back to the school or not. Case in point, Moscow, Idaho, Brian Kohlberger. When the killer was on the loose, people weren't sending their kids to school. They were doing online education and everything like that. So now you got a mass shooting that occurred on a college campus. They didn't announce anyone that's been arrested for murder. Implies to me that they don't have the person that actually did the murder.
Well, they'll have to probably online classes until they're completed with the investigation. I'm sure they have that capability, but there's probably a lot of parents who are like, what is going on here? Because they've never had a shooting like this on homecoming or whatever. I think there was a shooting last year, about a year ago, either on the campus or in proximity of the campus. I forget the story, but this is just not something that normally happens at this school. So, you know, parents, and it's pretty early in the school year too. We're only in November. They've only been in classes a couple months and this happens. So yeah, it's like people work really hard to get into college. Parents have to make a lot of sacrifices for their kids to be able to go to school.
Drop money.
You know, it affects so many people, and you know, it's also a very proud moment when your child gets accepted in college and they're, you know, able to go and all these things. So people are probably now thinking twice about, should I stay at this school or not?
Yeah, I mean, you know, as a parent, they should be paying very close attention and probably making decisions right now, which they should do moving forward. If you know your college is in the culture of having these unauthorized parties every weekend, you either tell your kid not to get involved, or you kick them, you know, you unenroll them and say, get out. I don't want my kid in. I don't want my kid in this type of environment. You know, I signed up, and, you know, maybe some kids get, you know, scholarships or whatnot. Good. That's awesome. But, you know, I wouldn't want to be around that stuff. I'd be focused on getting the education. But college kids are college kids, you know. They do party. Let's be real. We can't say, well, we will have no party culture. College kids party. It's what they do. It's part of their lifestyle. It's part of understanding how the world works, I guess, right? But with this particular case, it's crazy because, you know, you got these people that don't even go to the university, it looks like, because the person that died didn't go to the university. He sure didn't go to the university.
Well,
who are these people coming in?
What about the security, though, on the campus? Because if this party was unauthorized, why is it that when you see, as a security officer that I assume they have on campus, you suddenly see hundreds of people showing up at an apartment for a party that's not authorized? Why are you not breaking up that party? Why are you not telling people, as soon as you start seeing people flooding in, why would the security not put a stop to it at that point?
Because they want to be the cool security guard, to be cool.
They're not even supposed to be having a party in the first place. Like, the party itself should not have even happened, let alone the shooting. So, they may have to make some changes on campus with security.
Or rules.
Enforce the rules. I don't know, but you're not even supposed to be having the party in the first place. So they probably need to start there and figure out how this came together when it was not allowed.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll be on this. We'll see if anyone else gets arrested. I have a feeling there'll be more name dropping within the next 48 hours. But I also have a feeling the killer or killers are still on the loose.
Well, no, Big Dig, what I'm saying is before it became hundreds of people, I'm saying the moment when they started seeing people coming in, why would you not, before it grows to hundreds of people or however many were there, when you start to see this influx of people coming and you kind of have an indication that a party, an unauthorized party, is about to happen, why would you not try to stop it at that point? Because no, obviously, once you have a party with hundreds of people, you're not going to have a couple security guards be able to go in there and shut it down. So shut it down before it even gets going is what I'm saying. Because there would have been no chance after that. Once you have, because I don't know how many people were there, but just looking at the videos, I would say it was at least 100 people, maybe even a couple hundred people. So no, at that point you can't. You're going to have a whole team of law enforcement to come in and shut the party down. But if you stop it before it grows too big, then maybe you give yourself a chance. But no, they wouldn't have had any chance whatsoever once so many people showed up there.
One of the victims was 18, so assuming that he just graduated from high school last year, right? So freshmen, is this dealing with a bunch of freshmen having parties and the new culture, the new breed of people that come into the college every year?
Yeah, I don't know, but I expect to see several more arrests. Several more. Just based on the amount of gunfire you can hear in those videos. There are definitely multiple shooters here.
Also, one thing I noticed about this also, this is a mass shooting. This is a big deal. I haven't seen a police press conference. Have you?
I have not.
I have not seen a police press conference because I was like, Magnolia, let's listen to the police press conference to see what's going on. Why isn't the police giving out a press conference? Because normally when you get mass shootings, police at least give information out and share what's up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was looking yesterday for any type of press conference and I didn't see one. I don't know if they've done one since, but...
Or at least tell the public whether this is the guy that did the killing or not. Is there others involved or not?
Yeah.
At least assure the public there in Tuskegee, community there, parents, faculty. I wonder if these faculty attend this pop-up party, you know? That'd be crazy, right?
Well, there could have been, yeah. I mean, there could have been different people that are on staff at the university hanging out too.
Wild times, folks. Stay mindful of your children out there. Be safe out there. And hopefully this is just an isolated incident or not a growing trend at these universities where outsiders come in and they pull up. It's a pop-up party. That's what it was. It's a pop-up party. It's an unauthorized event. Just say it. Pop-up party. That's what it was. It was a party. Mm-hmm. It was a party at 1:45 a.m. Saturday night on the campus there where people stay. And outsiders are allowed to just go in there and large groups of people, and it turned into hundreds of people and then resulted in gunfire. It's a pop-up party.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Anything else, Magnolia?
No, we'll just keep an eye on it and see who else gets arrested and if Mr. Myrick has murder charges added. We'll see how it goes.
Well, I mean, you know, some states, if you're involved with a group of people and one person within that group commits the murder, everyone gets charged with murder within that group.
Yep.
This is Alabama. You would think that would apply in Alabama, right? Yeah, Alabama's kind of tough on crime in Alabama. You don't want to play and commit a crime in Alabama.
Yeah, capital murder would be. So anybody who was involved, whether it was just driving the getaway car or
being
whatever
present,
it is,
assisting,
they could all be charged with murder, no matter who actually did the murder. They will all be charged. Yes.
If my prediction, and we're just doing predictions, he's not the murderer. He's there with the gun. He's part of a group of people with guns and everything like that. Maybe fired off shots. Yes. I don't think he's the murderer.
Yeah, but he probably knows who all was shooting and who had guns. But
he knows he was there with.
I bet you he's not going to tell.
Oh, I think he will when the feds.
You think?
Oh, absolutely. He's 5K. It's called 5K1. Absolutely, he's debriefing with federal agents. Absolutely.
Yeah, so maybe he'll be able to give them the info they need to go round up everyone else.
Yeah, we'll see who else gets charged out of this. Good work, Magnolia. Thank you very much.
All right.
All right, folks. College students out there, if you're watching JLR Investigates, stay tuned because we will put the names of the people involved on this channel as soon as we know. We'll do a little digging ourselves in the process. Who committed this murder? Is there murderers on the loose? Or is this the sole guy? I think there's more involved. I think there's also more to this story. If you know anything firsthand that you want to share with us on JLR Investigates, tips at JLR Investigates. If you know who the killer is, contact law enforcement immediately. Wild times, folks. Be safe. Stay vigilant out there. Respect everyone out there getting an education, man. You know, getting an education, trying to, go out there and be productive citizens. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair for the parents to send their kids to school and only to have this type of craziness and wildness happen in our society. We should be able to have a safe learning environment, both at colleges, high schools, middle schools, elementary schools, everywhere out there. You kiss your kid goodbye. They're getting that education to be better people, and this type of nonsense happens. Wild stuff. We'll talk soon. JLR Investigates. Thanks for watching, everyone. Be safe, everyone.